What's up, guys? So we got a question from Tickens, who is in a new gym, and she does not feel like she's up to snuff, right? She feels like she is false advertising. So I'll kind of give you the background on it. During school, right, she's a PT, so during her schooling, she moved to several different locations to go to finish up her degree, and now she's living in a new place to actually start her career. And so in this 2-year period that she's been training jiu-jitsu and got her third stripe on her white belt, she's trained at 3 different gyms, and so she's now in her 4th gym. Now, when she got that 3rd stripe, she said she felt pretty good. She's like, man, I feel like I'm doing really well. I feel like I'm good in my gym. Everything's moving in the right direction. In this new gym that she's training at, she says that the people are pretty high caliber, and she feels like she's not up to par with their 3-stripe white belts, with their white belts. And so she feels like when she puts that belt on, you know, she ties that belt around her waist and she's looking at those 3 stripes, she feels like she's false advertising, right? So she's looking to see if I have any advice or perspectives to share with her that might be useful to her. So, Tickens, thanks for the question. You know, I think we all at some point feel like the imposter, right? We all feel like an imposter syndrome at some point, like where we question ourselves about where we're at. But where I felt this the most strongly was in jiu-jitsu, was probably as a brown belt. I was a freshly minted brown belt, brand new brown belt. And I went down to this gym in Nashville, Tennessee with this guy named Sean Hammond. Sean was not my coach back then. He was this guy who I saw was killing it. He took 2nd at the Worlds the previous year. He was training guys that were just killing it at you know, big tournaments, like winning Pans and Worlds and things like that. And so I knew that those guys were really good, and I wanted to make myself better because I was kind of getting into a leadership position here. And so I knew that, you know, if I want to become a good leader, I need to raise myself up. So my good friend Dave Riley was here, and they're like best friends. And so I talked to Dave, he set it up. I went down there and trained with Sean for a week. And I remember that first night when I went down there, I wanted to take that brown belt off. I was like, I don't belong in this thing. I need to put my purple belt back on. I don't belong as a brown belt. Because I was having trouble just holding down blue belts, right? There was this thin young blue belt named Kenny Dagenhart. He may have been a purple belt, but I believe he was a blue belt the first time we rolled. Kenny, I know you watch the videos sometimes, so if you're watching. But I rolled with Kenny, and I couldn't hold him down. He's 150 pounds, and I'm like, just stop moving. And, you know, he was giving me all kinds of fits. And when I rolled with, like, the black belts, they crushed me. And when I rolled with the brown belts, sometimes I was just getting by the skin of my teeth. And so that first day, I was pretty damn discouraged. But I remember when I was laying up in the hotel room that night, I'm just kind of laying there thinking about it, I started to sort of take it in a better, sort of spin it around and look at it in a better situation. So I started to take the mindset that I did when I first started jiu-jitsu. So when I first got into BJJ, I went into it thinking I was going to be pretty good because I wrestled and I kind of watched MMA and I watched a little jiu-jitsu and wrestled around with my buddies. I thought I was going to be like a blue belt, right? I thought I was going to be pretty good. And I went in my very first day of jiu-jitsu practice and I got crushed. I got beat up by everyone, right? Everyone smashed me from the smallest guy to the biggest guy. And I was inspired by that. Like, I wasn't upset about it. I was like, this is amazing. I got smashed by all of you. Didn't matter about weight. It didn't matter about size. Every one of you guys smashed me. I want this. Give me, right? So I got back up and immediately started coming back to practice because I was amazed by it. It was incredible. And so I started to take that mindset. I was like, man, I'm getting smashed by all these people. I mean, I'm doing okay, but I'm getting smashed by some of these people that I feel like I should be able to hang with. Could look at it as a negative, but I chose to look at it as a positive and be like, you know what? I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to soak this stuff up. So that week, we trained like 3 times a day, every single day for this whole week, and I soaked up as much as I could. I took notes about the way they ran classes. I took notes about the way they drilled. I did all this stuff. And that experience sparked something in me that I think led to me becoming a full-time coach. Maybe that'd be a good story for another video. But it led me down a direction, a positive direction that made me better. It made me bring back stuff to my students to make them better. And I started going down to Sean's on almost a weekly basis, sometimes going down there and training on Thursday mornings. I would get up at 6 a.m. I would drive down there to Nashville, which is a 3-hour drive, train with him and the guys for a few hours. I'd come back up, show my guys what we drilled and trained that day. And I would do this pretty regularly. And, you know, it was something that, again, pushed me and made me better. So for you, Tickens, in your situation, you can look at this a couple different ways. You can look at this as purely a negative thing, right? You can look at it just simply a negative where it's a difficulty, it's a problem. But you can look at this difficult situation and look for opportunity in it, right? In the difficulty, there's always an opportunity. And a lot of times, it's those difficult things that make you better. And the way that I look at it is when you get into a gym where everybody's good, where everybody's tough, and it's pushing you and it's getting you out of your comfort zone and you don't feel like you're too good, sometimes it has a way of rubbing off on you, right? Because if you get surrounded by people that are really good that are going to push you, it's like the old saying, the rising tide lifts all boats. It's going to end up lifting you up, because I know that for me, when I would go down to Sean's and be pushed by these people, it had a way of pulling me up. right? I mean, I know by training with Sean used to kick my ass, and that had a way of pulling me up too. And so for you in this situation, nothing is a negative unless you choose it to be so, right? Your perspective on things decides whether it's a negative or it's a positive. Now, you know me, if you watch my videos, which you do, you probably know what I'm going to say as far as being negative or positive. You can look at it as a negative thing and be like, I suck, I'm not as good as these people. Or you can look at it and say, this is going to be my gym now, right? And these guys are really good, they're very tough, they're very skilled, and they're going to cause me to race to a new level. And so that's what I would say to you, right? Like, go into that gym, accept that maybe you're not where you need to be right now, but if you continuously come in consistently, you're gonna get pulled up by these people in this gym that are training that are really good. So, Tickens, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. And guys, I'll talk to you next time.